Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video we will build a project using YouTube API version 3. We will be using JavaScript. We won't use any JavaScript library or framework. It's gonna be just clean JavaScript. And just to give you a quick demo here, we have an HTML page and it says login with Google, and then we click on this login button, and here another window is popping up and it's asking for to choose a Google account, but I'm just gonna change the language to English. So it says choose an account to continue to rootvictor.com, and then I choose my account here, and I logged in before. That's why it doesn't ask me to write my password there, but you may have to insert your password there and then click continue. And then after that, a YouTube's channel information is gonna pop up on your website. I choose this. I have this channel in my source code, but it can be changed, of course. This is like a a channel, default channel or something like that. And here we have channel's title, ID, the subscribers, how many views it has, how many videos. This is the channel's description, and then we have a visit channel button here. If we click there, we are redirected to the YouTube's channel's URL. And also, if you pay attention to this button here, instead of login, we have logout button. So those two buttons switched. And now, whenever we click on the logout, all this information disappears, and then we get back the login button. And as I said, we will be working with JavaScript. And if you go to, there's a link where you can see a quick start. Google has a quick start here. They have for different other programming languages, but this one is for JavaScript. So the URL is developers.google.com/youtube/v3/quickstart/js. And here they have there are a few steps here, and they have an example here using HTML, JavaScript. Here we will be using a few of these functions from here, but my example is a little bit different, just a little bit different, and I feel like my example is easier to understand than this one from here. And if you want, you can follow me, because I'm gonna write all this code by myself from my project. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you go on Google and search for Google Cloud Console, you will have a link popping up here, which is console.cloud.google.com. Click on that link, and here on the Google Cloud platform, if you don't have any projects, you may want to create a new project. I'm gonna create a new project here too, so you can see how that was the process. Click on new project there, choose a name, and let's say YouTube API, YT API, just put like that. Click create, and then after that go to APIs and services from the left side here, and then click on enable APIs and services. On top of the page you can see there's like a blue button. Click there, and then here in your search field type YouTube. Excuse me. And let's choose the YouTube Data API version 3. And if you had this project before, like you had a project before, and if you might have this and you work with APIs, YouTube API, you may have it enabled. But if you don't have it enabled, just click enable. Okay, and now we need to create two credentials for this project. And on the right side on top, you should have a button which is says create credentials. Just click on that button, and from here we find out what kind of credentials you need, and then we want to pick the YouTube Data API version 3. And then here, where will you be calling the API from? And we want to say web browser and JavaScript. And then of course we will get the public data, so I think this option would be the right one, public data. And click on what credentials do I need. And here we can see that it says here is your API key. And now we're done with this one. Click done. And now we will need to create another credential, which is OAuth client ID. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that as you saw already, maybe you saw or maybe didn't see, but I'm working on a subdomain. It's a public. I'm not working on the local host because for some reason I couldn't use this my localhost IP to to create this OAuth client ID, and that's why I'm working on a subdomain. But if you figure it out how to work, maybe found out a way how to use your localhost for for this project, just feel free to leave a comment and share your experience with others. So let's continue. Click on our on this one, OAuth client ID, and then from here, if you have this message, this notification which says to create a client ID, you must first set a product name on the consent screen. Just click on this blue button on the right side which says configure consent screen, and then here you choose your email, product name. Make sure you in your product name just put something which is not related to your Google service, or just I usually let's put YT project or something like that. Then click save. All right, after that we choose the application type, which is web application. We choose another application's name here. Let's put YT, which is like means YouTube project API version 3. So here where we have authorized JavaScript origins, this is the place where I was saying that I had issues with localhost. So that's why I'm just gonna put this subdomain. If you have a domain or something, make sure you remove your the last slash after your domain extension, and then authorized redirect URLs, I put the same one and just remove the slash. And after that, just click create, and here we have our OAuth client. Click OK. So now we're done with this one. We have those are the credentials we need, and now let's go ahead and create our project. Write some code. As I said already, I'm working on this subdomain, so I'm using FileZilla here. I have 2 files. I'm just gonna delete them, delete everything from here. I'm just gonna write everything from scratch. So for this project, I'm using Notepad++ because it's not a big project, and Notepad++ feels like it's easier, when you just start something. So we will start with our index.html file. I'm just gonna create another file. I'm gonna save it on my desktop, and I'll call it index.html. And using my FileZilla, I will upload it to my subdomain. Okay, close it from here, and I'm just gonna open it directly from my subdomain so I can work on my subdomain live. So here we will have an HTML page, and we have this doc type HTML. Okay, we have our head, and then we have the body section here. In our head section, we will just put the page title post. I'm just gonna call it YouTube API version 3. And then below, I'm just gonna use here Materialized Css. So if you go open another tab and search on Google, what's that? Materialized CSS. The website is materializedcss.com. Click on it and then get started. And then here versions of the CDN. So let's just copy the CSS library from here, the entire URL, the entire tag. Go back and just paste it here. And let's go ahead in our body section now. Let's create our page body. So we will have here a div class, which is gonna be container div, and then in this container we will have that sentence which was saying that log in with Google. So that's what we will do now. Log in with Google, and now here we will have two buttons. The first button is going to be the login button, and then the second one logout. So we have button class, and here is going to be btn green button here, and we will have an ID. We will use this ID in our JavaScript functions, so we can grab and manipulate with this button. So we'll have enter button, and here we close our button. Okay, let's name this one login. So everything looks good. And then the second one is going to be logout, and the ID is going to be exit. Okay, we'll have a BR here, and then now we will have a div ID, which is div ID content. Okay, and then in this div ID content we'll have a div class. We'll have a div which is row. All these classes are coming from our Materialized.css file. Okay, and then here we will have another ID, which is going to be the channel data. And we'll have a 12-column class. Okay, we don't put anything inside of this div because the JavaScript is gonna output the channels data in this div ID. Okay, let me check one more time. Everything looks good here. Container. Okay, container, two buttons. All right, now here below we will have we should include the materialized JavaScript library. So just copy it and paste it here, and then we will have to create another JavaScript file, which is I will name it script.js, and that file needs to be included here as well. So we have script source script here, and then the script is going to be script.js. This is the file we will create after this. And then we will have another JavaScript file. Like if you go to the quick start, JavaScript quick start, in this example here, at the end of the page they have a JavaScript. Just let's copy this script from here, and I'm gonna paste it here. And so this script calls the API's JavaScript library, and then when on load it calls the handle client load JavaScript file function. So we will have this function in our script.js file. That's why we need this one, because when this library gets loaded, it calls this function, and then we will have this function in our script.js file. All right, I think that's it for this file. Let's just save it, send it to our server, open our subdomain, refresh the page, and now we can see that we have login with Google, and then these two buttons here. Now if we inspect it, we can see that we have the container class, and then we have the div ID content, and then that row and channel data. I get some errors here too, but that's because the handle client load, we don't have this function yet. That's why I show some errors there. I'm just gonna close it. Now we should hide these two buttons and the div content ID, div ID. So we should hide all this information. I'm just gonna do it in the header section. Oops. I don't want to create another CSS file because we won't have a lot of CSS, so I'm just gonna use the style tag here. So we have there, what's that, content, and then we have enter button and exit button, and we want to display none. Save it, send it to the server, refresh the page, send it yet, and we see they disappear. Now let's go ahead and create our JavaScript file. So I'm just gonna create another file and name it script.js, as we already have it here in our index.html, and I'm just gonna upload it to my server script, and I'm just gonna open it from here, and we will start it here. And just to go back to our let's go back to our quick start JavaScript, and here I'm just gonna explain a little bit. We got the YouTube data. Okay, so we will have 1, 2, 3 variables right now, and the first one is going to be client ID, and then we will have the discovery docs. The client ID is going to be this one with this credential from here, and then we will have the the API URL, and then we will have the authorized scopes. So what do we want to do with this API, or what's the scope of accessing this API? And that's going to be read only. So we'll just read the information from a YouTube channel. Now let's go ahead and create our JavaScript file. We have a comment here, options, and then we have const here. What's that? Client ID. And here we should paste our client ID. Let's go back to our credentials and click on this copy API key. Just click once there and come here and paste it. And then the second one, const this discovery docs. We basically can copy it from our quick start discovery docs. Alright, and then the third one, it's scopes. This one can be copied from here too. Okay, and now we will have three more variables for our enter button, exit button, and then for the content div ID. For this, and for this div ID. So we have const, and then okay, I'm going to make sure I don't misspell it. Authorized button, and we get document and get element by ID, and then here we have our enter button, and then we will have another variable for sign out, and this is gonna be for the exit button, and then another variable for content. Okay, and the div ID content. And now we will have another variable. Let me just leave say like that, default YouTube channel, and here we will have another variable, const, and we will call it default channel. And for now I'm just gonna put the Grant Cardone. Okay, now let's go ahead and start writing our functions here. So the first function is going to be the function which will load the auth2 library. So let's leave the comment here, load auth2 library. We get function, handle, client, load. We don't have any parameters, and using the GAPI object, we load the library. Client, auth2, and the second parameter is init client. Oops, init client. Okay, now we will have to initiate the API client library and set up sign-in listeners. So let's leave a comment here, init API client library, and set up sign-in listeners. So we have a function here, init client. We don't have any parameters here, and using the GAPI main object, getting the client, and then the init method. Okay, get our brackets, and now here we want to use all this data above. We want to use the client ID, discovery docs, and the scopes to load this client library. So we have discovery docs, and here we put discovery docs, and then we have the client ID, choose client ID, and then here we have scope. I got the scopes here, and then we get here then ES6. Now we have a function here. You know, we set this the scope, the discovery docs, and everything, and after when this step is done, then we want to listen for sign-in state changes. Okay, and then we will want to handle the initial sign-in state, and we will update the sign-in status. So basically we will grab the event from that a login button and logout button, and according to the event we will update the sign-in status. And then after that we will have another function. We will check if the user is signed in, then we want to hide the sign out button and display the sign. When the user is signed in, we want to hide the sign in button and display the sign out button. And we want to also display the content variable. And or else, there's gonna be an else, the user is not signed in, then we wanna display the sign in button, and we wanna remove the content and then the sign out button. Okay, let's go ahead and continue here. So let's leave a comment, listen for sign in, let's say sign state changes, and then here we have GAPI auth2 get auth instance function, and then is sign in, and then we have the listen here, and then we want to put here update sign-in status. Okay, and now here we will handle the initial sign-in state. So let's just handle initial sign-in state. Okay, now here we will use the update sign-in status, and that's how we're gonna update the status. So let's go ahead and update sign-in status, and as a parameter we will have the GAPI object using auth2, and we will have get auth instance, and then we will have is sign in, and then get method. And here we grab the events from each of our buttons. So we will have authorized button on click, and there's gonna be the handle auth click. Oops. Come on, Victor. Click. Actually, it's not like that. It's gonna be like this: handle auth click. This is a function, and then we will have another function. We will create these functions below, and then we have here, was there the sign out button? Okay, handle, let's say sign out click. Okay, now let's go ahead and create another function below, which is this function is gonna update the user interface sign in state changes. So this is the function that I was saying, which is gonna check if the user is signed in. Then we hide the sign in button and display the content and then the sign out button. So let's go ahead and leave a comment. It's gonna be update UI sign in state changes. Then we get the function. We're gonna name it update sign in status, because we called it here as a parameter, and then we used it here with a different parameter, which as a parameter is the status already. And then using the status we already got from this init client, here we can check if the user is signed in or not. And we'll have a parameter here, and the parameter is going to be is signed in. And then we have an if statement. If is signed in, then we want to get the authorized button, and using the style we want to hide it. We want to hide it, which means if it's sign in, the user sign in, we hide the enter button, the sign in button. And then we also want to display the sign out button here. I'm just gonna copy from there. Sign out button style display block, and we also want to display the content. Content is gonna be display block. And then here below we will create another function, which is gonna be get channel, but I'll put it later here. Else, if the user is not signed in, we want to use the same thing from here, but now the authorized button is gonna be, we're gonna display the authorized button, and we want to hide the sign out button, and then the content div ID. Okay, now let's go ahead here and create the handlers for each of these two functions. We should create now these two functions here. So we have a comment and handle login function. We get the function handle of click. There is no parameter for this one, and here we want to use the GAPI auth2 and get auth instance, and then we get the sign in function. Okay, and then the second one is gonna be for the sign out. So handle logout. Okay, we get the function and handle sign out. Handle sign out click. We don't have any parameters for this one too, and we basically get the same thing from as we get in our sign, but the function is going to be sign out here, last one. And now here we want to create another function, which is get channel, and we will use this function. We will call this function in our update sign-in status. So we will call this function here. But before we call it there, let's just go ahead and create it. So here is gonna be get channel from API. Here we will get the channel's data. We will assign it to a variable, and then we will call another function which we will create after this one, and we will send all this data to that function, and then that function is gonna output the data in our channel data div_id. So just, I don't want to say too much because it may sound complicated, but we have here our function get channel, and then here we get our channel, just one parameter, and then using the G API client YouTube and channels, we'll have a list. Okay, and now here we want to say what kind of information we want to get and from which channel. So we have part, and here we have snippet, and then content, details, and then statistics. And now here we should say from which channel, and then we say for user, and then it's going to be channel. And then below here we will have a then function, then, and we will get a response here. So we have response, and then arrow function like that. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that, and then below here we will have to catch in case this channel doesn't exist. Catch the error. Okay, in case it doesn't exist, we will have an alert here, and we will say no channel by that name. Okay, now here where we have our response, let's go ahead and use the console log to make sure everything goes good. Everything is good until this step, and we'll get the response here. Now I should copy this get channel name, and let's go ahead and call this function here where we have our where we update the user interface. So paste it there, and then as a parameter get the default channel. Why do I have this one here like that? This one needs to be, so this one needs to be sign out button here like that, sign out button. Okay, copy the default channel from here, and we will use it here where we get channel in our, where we update the user interface. We call the get channel function, and we send as a parameter, we use the default channel, and then here we use GAPI, all the stuff, and we tell Google what kind of information we want to get using this API, and then from what channel, from which channel. And then after that, we would just want to output all that object in our console. Using the console log, we want to output all the data in our console here. So just save this file like that. I'm just gonna send it to the server. When it's done, we'll just refresh the page. Ctrl F5. Looks like there's an error. Is not a function. Get auth instance. I'm missing something here. '26th. That's weird. Let's see, 26. G API of 2 get of instance is signed in. This 10, I forgot about n. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's it's happening sometimes. Everybody's making mistakes. So now let's go ahead and refresh. See, and now we see we have this login button. But just want to let you know that sometimes when you work on your on a local host, or when using a hosting somewhere, and you have just a JavaScript file, you're working with JavaScript files, and you want to refresh your JavaScript file every time when you refresh your page. For example, right now I'm working on my JavaScript file, and my JavaScript file sometimes is saved in my browser's cache. Just to make sure you load the new version of your JavaScript file, just press Ctrl U and click on your script file here, and you will download the entire file here. And when you make changes and send your file or upload your file to the server, make sure you press Ctrl F5 multiple times, and because this is gonna load the new version of the file in your browser. Sometimes it gets saved in the cache and it doesn't, your changes don't work or don't show up on the website. Okay, let's continue. So we fixed that mistake. It was a misspelling here. It used to be listen, not listy. And then here we have this button, click on login, and then we get another error. That's awesome. Okay, on the 50, what's there? It's not a function. Okay, where's our listing event? Okay, so this one needs to be, oh, I forgot about this one. This needs to be, yeah, this is a function. This needs to have these brackets here. Parentheses. Okay, save it, go back. Refresh this file. Refresh everything one more time, and hopefully everything doesn't work again. Number 68. Oh, you know why? Because it didn't, this file, as I said, it's saved in the cache, and I refreshed it, but it didn't load everything. You see where it's missing the last parenthesis here. So I should now press Ctrl and F5, until it gets loaded all the way. Now go back and refresh one more time. It doesn't show any errors for now, but Chrome load as deprecated and this and that. Okay. So if I click on the login, a window is popping up here, and it tells me again it's Russian. I should change it to English. So it says choose an account. We choose our account, and it tells that you know, ruvictor.com wants to access your Google account, and just click allow. And you see we are logged in, but we get another error because I make so many mistakes. An excuse would be that it's already late and I may be tired, but in any ways I should be really careful. So here, cannot read property channels of undefined on the 60th line. So something wrong there here. Okay, GAPI client YouTube channels. I'm just gonna pause the video, guys, and find out what's wrong here. Alright guys, I found that. So we have to fix 3 misspellings here. The first one would be to go to your I think you already saw them. You already know where was my misspelling. So here where we have discovery docs, it's missing an S. And then on my logout handle here where we have sign out, used to be sign GN, sign out. And then another major mistake I made, and I'm sorry about that, guys. It's here where we get the channel from API, where is our get channel, and here we have the parameter which is for user. It needs to be for username, and then save it, send it to the server, and then go back and refresh the page. And here we get in our console an object here using our console log. And then if we open this object, we have headers here and then a result. And let's go ahead and open the result. And then in our result, we have items. Let's open up the items. And here we have the items, the first item, which is 0. And then we open it. And here we have ID, which is the channel ID. And then we have Snippet Statistics. We open the snippet. In here we see the custom URL, description, and then we have localized stuff here, description and title. In our statistics we have you know, subscriber count, video count, view count, you know, and a bunch of other data here. We can actually pull even a few of the videos from the channel in case you need that. Okay, now we see that everything works and we fix all those, you know, mistakes. Now what I'm gonna do is I will create another variable here in our get channel, and this is gonna be channel. I will use the channel variable from here, and I will assign to it the response. I will assign to it this object from here. So we will do response and then result and then items. Now I want to get the first item, which is 0. As you already saw here, it's response, results. We go to results. This is the results here, and then we go to items, and we want to get item 0 from here. And then having this item, we will be able to, you know, use this data from here. Now below we will have another variable, and this is gonna be output. And I will use here the backtags because I want to use the variable without concatenation. So we'll do like that. And then we will have a list here. UL class, and this is gonna be collection. UL, we will have items here. collection item. And now here we will have the variable using our brackets, and $, we will get the channel using the channel, and then we will go to the snippet, and then we want to take the title from there. This is gonna be on the first one, and then the second item is gonna be, well, here we can put title, and then we will have here ID, and we get the channel ID, and then we will have subscribers, and we'll get channel statistics, and then we have here subscriber count, and then the next one is gonna be views. We get channel statistics, and then here view count. We will also have videos here, channel statistics, and then video count. Okay, and now below here we will have the description. So we will go to channel, and then snippet, and then description. And after that we will have an HR line here, and we should have here that link, visit channel link. So we'll have a, and then class, and make this class a button, red, darken to, and then we'll have target, blank, and then here we will have the URL, which is gonna be https youtube.com/ and here we will have the channel's URL. Oops, which is gonna be channel snippet and custom URL. Okay, now here we'll say visit channel, and then we have that a tag. And now here, as I said, we will have a function, and this function is going to output, we will call a function, we will create that function above our get channel, and this function is going to output all this data into that channel data div ID. So we will call that function, let's say, show channel data, and we will use as a parameter the output variable. So we will send all this data to our show channel data function, and then here above our get channel we will create that function. So function show channel data, and we'll have the data here, and I'm just gonna leave a comment here to say display channel data. And now here we will have a variable. This variable is going to be channel data, and we assign it the document get element by ID, and here we will have the channel data div ID, and then after that we just output. We output the data into this div, inner HTML data. All right, let's save this file. Let's go and confirm it here and refresh it. Make sure everything is loaded correctly. We have show channel data. Okay. Now let's refresh our page, and here we get you know, the list. We get list, we get title, channel's ID, subscribers, views, videos. We get the description here, and then visit channel button. So if we click on it, it actually doesn't go on the custom URL. Let's see what's wrong there. We missed something here. Well, I shouldn't put this there. Save it, refresh it. Okay, refresh it one more time here, and then still doesn't work. Wow. Okay, so we've got channel, snippet, custom URL. Okay, let me go to inspect it. Console. So failed to, okay, we get the object here, and then results, items, 0, test snippets, custom URL. It's right there. Let's copy. Oh my god, I couldn't see this and here. Okay, let's save it like that. Now confirm it here. Refresh it. Refresh the entire page. Now it should work. And we see it redirects us to the correct URL. Now let's change the channel. Let's go back up where we have our default channel. Let's say Google Developers. Save it. Confirm it here. Refresh your JavaScript file. Make sure it's updated here. Refresh it one more time here. And it didn't refresh properly, so I'm just gonna keep refreshing it until I get the full JavaScript file. Wow. Okay. Alright. Go back, refresh it one more time. And we see we get the data from our Google Developers YouTube channel. So we have title, ID, subscribers, views, and videos, and then there's a small description here. And then whenever we click on the visit button, visit channel button, we are redirected to the Google Developers. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you have any comments, thoughts, or questions, just leave them in the comments. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next tutorial.